Mark McCombe, Asia-Pacific chairman of the world's largest asset management company, BlackRock, has been visiting the Asian Financial Forum 2012 here in Hong Kong. And he's really been looking at the RMB, the rise thereof. Mark, you were a banker and now you're an asset manager. How would you differentiate between the two, looking at perspectives?
Well, thanks for the question. I was very fortunate to be in Hong Kong's leading bank during the most exciting period of development of the internationalization of the renminbi. And so we witnessed some really quite fundamental changes in how the currency could be used and invested in here in Hong Kong and beyond. And I think these evolutions always start with the banking sector, where the policy changes allowed individual investors to invest into the currency by holding it as a deposit, and also, of course, widespread reforms within the trade settlement area, which spawned a whole new financing arrangement that could be done in renminbi. I think that's been very exciting from a banking perspective. What I see as the big opportunity going forward is that now we're getting a little bit more establishment of the currency. We've got some interesting capital markets developments, not least with the dimsum bond market as well as the IPO market. And I think that means that the next wave of interest will have to come from the investment community and will come through the asset managers working here in Hong Kong or throughout the world.
So we've had the dimsum bonds, which were well received. So what's next?
Well, I'd like to answer this question slightly differently by saying that don't forget the renminbi is really a delivery channel. Just as a currency, the euro or the dollar, can deliver different investment opportunities, I see the renminbi very much as a new and exciting delivery channel. So what sits behind that, of course, is then the product that you deliver. And I think obviously we've seen the nascent development of some bond funds, but I think, of course, the issuance of new dimsum bonds is still what's required before that becomes really a deep market. And I think obviously there's been early signs with the IPO last year and so forth. But I think the point to remember here is that at the end of the day, it's the opportunities around Greater China that we find more compelling than specifically the renminbi itself. The renminbi is a very, very positive development as part of a much broader China opportunity that we see developing over the medium to long run.
Of course, Hong Kong has been successful as an offshore centre for the RMB, but could other centres arise as well? I mean, people have talked about London, for example.
Well, there can be no limit to how many centres there are for the renminbi offshore, but I think the more important point is to focus on where the credibility of the renminbi and the depth of the market exists. And here I think Hong Kong has a unique advantage over pretty much every other centre around the world. And that's to do with the fact that Hong Kong sits on the doorstep of the mainland. It has deep connectivity with the mainland. The people of Hong Kong, the investors, as well as retail customers, will have much more understanding and acceptance of the currency. And perhaps most importantly, this is really where the sort of centre of excellence exists in terms of product development with the renminbi as a backdrop. So I think Hong Kong has some advantages that London or other centres may not have, and I think that'll allow it to stay very much ahead of the game in the years to come.
So with the RMB asset market beginning to move along, do you see the currency moving up as well to perhaps equal the British pound or the US dollar?
Of that I have absolutely no doubt. Over the long term, the renminbi is a global currency here to stay, and it will become a very, very important factor, not only in international trade, but also investment. I think the question is really about A, the timing of that, and then B, the degree to which certain markets get a head start against others. And here I think Hong Kong is far ahead of the competition in terms of financial centres and is really developing a deep understanding of the degree to which this currency can be an outstanding delivery mechanism for investment products.
You've been attending the Asian Financial Forum 2012 here in Hong Kong and really looking at the RMB. Is this the place for getting an idea of the perspectives, the prospects for the RMB, the strategies in the future?
I think any investor who's interested in the renminbi should be at a forum like this, because I think it's where people are brought together to discuss some of the relevant issues of the day. And I think it's where there's really a good exchange of ideas as to what can be the next step and what can be the opportunities for this very exciting currency.